Hi, and a happy new year. Sorry, a little bit late there. Had to quickly update one hand. It's happy double annuary as well, or Zanuary, as David pointed out there nicely, putting an X instead of the J. But I'm not sure that's as explicit as double annuary, but I rather like it written with an X. And of course that is the idea throughout this website, that we have been wanting to start the year with a bang, with more doubling. We should all be doubling more. And whether that's for takeout or penalties, but particularly getting some good penalties, starting the year with some 500s, some 800s, some 1100s, really important part of the game, and just competing for more hands. So of course the topic this month is doubling no trumps, and of course it starts with a double that we all know, and we'll look at that, which is the double of the one no trump opening, but tries to talk about doubles of no trumps in general, which of course we don't tend to get taught about. And there's some lovely doubles you can have. One of my favourites being those contracts that are 3 no trumps going 4 off or 3 off, and very often the traveller or the scorecard will be full of them. Everybody will be in 3 no trumps, nobody will be doubled, and it will go 3 or 4 off. And the reason it will go that far off is because they have a misfit and the suits are breaking really badly. And very often the defenders know that before the play starts. They can sort of see that. They can hear the auction, the opponents arguing with each other about which suit to play in. They settle in 3 no trumps, and they've got no way of getting from hand to hand. The finesses don't work. The suits break 5-2 or whatever it is, and they go 3 or 4 off. Put a double on that, you get a top and a very nice score. So whether you're playing pairs or teams, you can get some wonderful scores. Okay, well that's a good start to the year. What else is going on? Well, I had a lovely event over in Denham there, and we had some fun. I took a little bit of time to recover from that, I'll admit, and a few people ill there, but no, it was brilliant event. A nice way to start the new year, of course, by bringing it in with a speedball. Most people were well behaved for that as well. So we had some great fun. And I'm actually back to Denham next week, or this week I should say, on Thursday, where we have the reboot, and it's called Reboot Your Conventions. So I think there's still the odd room left, so if you do want to join us you can, but that means I'm not around for Fridays, so I am recording the Friday live, as it were, for this week. So we're still second hand low on Fridays. And still pretty tricky at that. I think the most common phrase I've used in the last few Fridays I've broadcast has been, you can't get them all right, and there's no doubt about that. But yes, it will still go out at the normal time, 11 o'clock on Friday. I'll be back on Sunday evening, and so next week should be normal. But we are rebooting our conventions, yes, which is quite exciting. All of the most common conventions you should be playing, which of course is quite interesting. You don't have to play them, of course, but a chance to either go over them again or to look at them for a first time, so that should be fun. Today we've got the normal suspects. We've got our 5-level decision, the hangover from Friday. We've got the seminar on doubling no trumps, or little tidbits from it. We have the bidding quiz to finish, and then of course at the very end we start again with the beginners, and the beginners have moved on from the basic opening leads against no trumps to basic opening leads against suit contracts. With regard to holidays, we're at Denham, and we're at Denham throughout the year, so do come and see us, all sorts of players. Richard's there in February to start off the monthly events we've got there. I'm doing 2 or 3, I think, including, well, hopefully, once we've got it organised, have Christmas and New Year for next year as well. And I'm going to the Isle of Wight, and we're going slightly earlier to the Isle of Wight. The reason is because I want to go skiing. So my family and I are going skiing to Italy And so that allows there to be, we're going to the Trouville there, that's in Sandown, a little bit earlier. Now you'll see there, I mean, I'll come back to me here, there's a list of weekends, you can see that on the site, there's a whole list. We are going to expand on that. Don't forget, as I've told you already, and I'll keep telling you, that we are going to the north. We're going to Alnwick in Cumbria. No, Northumberland. I nearly got there eventually. Go through a few names. Right north of Newcastle, so really, really far north. Nobody will again ever be able to claim that we are not going to the north. So hopefully we'll see plenty of you there. And of course we go abroad on cruises, so just please do look at our site. I know the Northern Lights cruise I did last year was lovely. And I'm going to Tunisia. And I have to say, at this time of year, you do start thinking of hotter places, don't you? So we're going to Tunisia at the end of March, beginning of April, Easter time, and we're going to Tuscany actually in June. So definitely wanting some heat. So look into those. Tunisia, a favourite of mine, and obviously Italy. I want to practice my Italians. So what do I do now? I've got to remember I go to where I got myself there, which is here. Okay. So this is the 5-level decision, which I'll show you now, and we'll come back to. Your east here, you are non-vulnerable against vulnerable, and I think it's reasonable to start the auction here with 2 hearts. It seems reasonable, so that's what you do. It goes 2 spades, 4 hearts, 4 spades. So everything goes pretty fast. And it's your choice of bid, and you've got to decide what to do at the 5 level as usual. So have a little think about that one. As I say, I tend to give you that one and then come back to it later. Those of you on Friday will have seen it already. So 2 hearts, 2 spades, 4 hearts, 4 spades. It's your bid. We've seen similar ones with an opening 3 preempt, so this is slightly different. So I'll come back to that one in a moment. Let's go to the PowerPoint. So today's excuse me, I'm going a bit too quickly. Today's PowerPoint is going to be a little excerpt from the big seminar. Don't forget the big seminar on the site that we do once a month. That is a chance to go through it and then play some set hands. I am for February going to change the set hand situation online, so I am only going to do 2 sets of set hands per week after this month. I didn't want to change it this month because I'm not around at the beginning of the month, as it were, because of the festive season. So for February we are going to change things and just have 2 regular slots for the set hands, which hopefully will then allow people to find a few more players playing. I'm also then going to announce how you can play them by yourself more easily, but that will come a bit later. So that's for those of you who are on the big seminar and want to use the set hands, the members there. And if you want to join us, of course, please join us. Okay, so let's go. This is an excerpt from, as I say, the big seminar. And the first thing I start with is doubles of no trumps are almost always for penalties, and that's really important because no trumps changes auctions. As soon as no trumps is bid, we have a limit bid. The auction is much more precise. Whereas when the bidding goes 1 heart, 1 spade, 2 clubs, the number of points in each player's hand is completely unknown relatively. I mean, sometimes I'll rebid 2 clubs with a stronger hand just to give us more space, so you won't know my range to any certain degree, whereas when I open 1 no trump, 12 to 14, got a pretty precise picture. There is one exception. I don't like saying almost always because I prefer the word always, but as in bridge, as always, or almost always in bridge, there's always an exception. The exception I will show you, but I don't like mentioning it. Okay, it's 1 of a suit, pass, 1 no trump. The double in that auction just cannot sensibly be penalties because your opponents have shown about a minimum of 18 points between them, and if you have more than that, as in enough to double, well then your partner's going to probably have a yard and you won't want to double, so it doesn't make any sense. So we play this double as takeout, the equivalent of a takeout of the opening bid. So, you know, the doubler might have a 4-4-4 one hand with a singleton diamond and 12 or 13 points trying to get into the auction. Okay, but that is the only exception. All other doubles of no trumps should be for penalties. And what are doubles of no trumps showing? Well, it's pretty straightforward in a basic format. What a double of a no trump contract means is, partner, we've got the majority of strength and I expect to get them down. Okay, I mean, the other thing, I mean, clearly you can have enough tricks to defeat the contract. So if they finish in 3 no trumps, you're on opening lead. Let's say it goes 1 no trump, pass 3 no trumps, and you're sitting with ace, king, queen, jack, 10 of diamonds. It's not unreasonable to double that. They've got nowhere to run to. It's got 1 no trump, 3 no trumps. You know, they've both got balanced hands, and so there's no reason why you shouldn't double them. Okay, because you've got enough tricks to defeat the contract. Sometimes you won't do that because they might run somewhere, but usually if it goes 1 no trump or 2 no trump, 3 no trumps, there's no reason to think they are going to run anywhere. But most of the time it's going to be because we've got the majority of strength, and that's really important. And of course the other element is when we double a 1 no trump opening bid, we're showing a good 15, ideally 16 or more points. And what we're saying is we expect most of the time to defeat 1 no trump because my points are sitting over them and I'm dividing the other points equally, and it's not unreasonable to hope it will go down. Okay, so we discussed that. I go in more detail in the big seminar. One of the things I do go into is, what does responder do when his partner has doubled a no trump opening? So people know sort of what to do when it goes 1 no trump double. The partner of the no trump bidder sometimes takes out, sometimes, you know, escapes, sometimes leaves it, etc. But what about when you're responding to the doubler? Now again, it's a very different situation here. When it goes 1 no trump double and you're the partner of the 1 no trump bidder, you know your partner's got 12 to 14. When it goes 1 no trump double pass and you are the partner of the doubler, you don't have such a close description of your partner's hand. He could be a good 15, he could be 21. Okay, with 21 he's going to start with a double first and then decide what to do. And if they leave the double in, he's probably going to be pretty happy. Okay, so the point is, whenever we've got a strong hand, we start with a double of no trumps to say, partner, look, I'm strong, I expect to get this down. If they start running somewhere when we rebid, we're then showing clearly a strong hand. Okay, so slightly different picture. So what do we do in this situation? Most of the time we're going to pass. Okay, you're going to leave it up to your partner. Now that does result in scores of 180 and 280 and 380, where of course they end up making. But bear in mind, if you run away, they may double you and you'll go for 500 possibly. So don't feel that it's the worst thing in the world. Remember, 1 no trump double making is not game. 1 no trump redoubled is another matter, and that's when it gets a bit spicy. So when might I bid? If I'm really weak and I've got a long suit, so that is a reasonable 5 or ideally 6 card suit where I expect to make tricks in that suit in a suit contract, but not in a no trump contract. Remember though, if you've got 3 or 4 points, very often you'll have about 20-20. Hopefully partner sitting over them might give you the chance of getting them down. And you really don't know the kind of hand partner has. If he's got a good suit, very often he'll be confident of defeating 1 no trump without much from you. Of course, he might just have 17 balanced, in which case it's going to be a struggle. Okay. And the key is that partner may well be able to defeat the hand by himself, and that's the issue. So don't just simply take it out thinking, oh no, I've got 1 point. If you are a flat hand with 1 point, the best place for you is no trumps. Okay. The other element, interesting, Ruben saying there, I mean, if the vulnerability is in your favour and you expect to make games, so the only time I might bid in a way with strength is if I've got 8 or 9 points, I therefore expect to make a game. If we are vulnerable and they are not, well then you might go for game because you'd need to take them 4 off in 1 no trump to beat the score for game. So be careful there. So you might think, oh, I've got 9 points, partner's got 16, that's brilliant. But if they make 4 tricks, doubled and non-vulnerable is 500, 3 off. And if we can make game, that's 600. Okay, so, you know, 1 no trump minus 3 is the equivalent of us making 9 tricks. So if the vulnerability's in, you know, we're vulnerable and they're not, you've got to be a bit careful. But those are pretty rare occasions, okay. Okay, so at the bottom I've said with 0 to 2 points in a long suit, then we might escape. So let's just look at those examples. These are from the thing. So 1 no trump double here, I'm just going to pass. I'm not very hopeful, but there's just no point bidding here at all. Okay, and of course sometimes your partner's got that. It's a normal double. It goes 1 no trump double. South is quite excited. In fact, they might even redouble. You know, some people will. And the beauty is, you know, clearly, as you can see, East is very confident. It goes 1 no trump double. And if they redouble, well, East is still confident, isn't he? East leads the King of Diamonds and can count 7 tricks in his hand. He's hopeful of another one. If you've got something, you don't have anything on this occasion. But the key is there's no problems for your partner at all. Okay, and declarer will just give in for 1 off, which doubled is 100, redoubled is 200, etc. But clearly if you bid anything, it's not nice. Partner will end up bidding 2 diamonds, I suppose, but 2 diamonds won't make. You've just got 7 tricks. You've got 7 tricks in any contract, and the only one that's really helpful for you is when you're defeating 1 no trump double. So let's look at the other one. This is an easy example. 1 no trump doubled. Now it is true that partner may still be able to get 1 no trump doubled down, but you just don't know. There's going to be times when he's got 17 balance. So here with a genuine suit, and note that you expect to make 3 heart tricks in a heart contract. So it's very different to having sort of jack empty to 5 or something where you might not even make a trick out of it. Here, it's not unreasonable to hope that you are going to make 3 tricks in a heart contract, yet you will make none in a no trump contract. So therefore, I'm going to bid 2 hearts. It's not always going to please my partner, but here your partner's got a perfectly decent double of 1 no trump. You know, he's got 16 points, ace jack 10 of diamonds as well, so he feels quite happy doubling. Okay, but clearly we take out to 2 hearts, and that may well end the auction. Okay, and as long as your partner trusts you, he leaves you there. 2 hearts might make, might not. The key element here is that clearly 1 no trump doubled is going to make very, very comfortably indeed. In fact, you're probably going to lead the jack of diamonds, and I have a feeling declarer might make +2. Okay, now I've put the score for 1 no trump double +1 as -280. I think if you choose the jack of diamonds, I think you'll just make 4 tricks maybe. If declarer gets everything right, he may well, because he's going to play you for every high card. Can you see that? In which case he should have a good chance. He can finesse for your 10 of diamonds for a start, and that will leave you pretty forlorn, and that will be 380. Whereas 2 hearts is either going to make or go down. It depends on North's lead. If North doesn't lead a spade, I think a spade is probably the normal lead, and that allows the defence to make sure of their spade trick. But if he chooses a club or a diamond, you never know. You might scrape home in 2 hearts. But the crucial thing here is it's those 3 heart tricks. The 3 heart tricks you make in a heart contract are 3 extra tricks beyond those 4 top tricks. So the most you're going to go off is surely just a 1. And I don't think you're likely to get doubled, but if you do, it's only 100, as opposed to -280 or -380. Okay, so that's, I think, a relatively straightforward element. The other element that we talk about, and this is the crucial thing, what do you need to double no trumps? As I've said, it's the majority of strength or enough people to come down. Someone asking there if it goes 1 no trump double, if you jump to the 3 level, that is forcing to gain. jump. Two level bids are competitive. 3 levels should be saying, partner, I know we're in game, not sure which one's the best one. And that's when you're vulnerable against them. So just a quick example of this, again from the seminar. This is a classic hand. The thing is, people don't get taught it, so they often forget. See, your partner opens a diamond, there's a 1 no trump overcall. Here it's really important to double. I mean, you're just defining your side's strength. Your partner has opened the bidding, you've got 10 points. You don't necessarily think game is on, but you know that with the majority of strength, you're in charge of this hand. So you double 1 no trumps for penalties. Now, they might start running, but the beauty is you've got the hearts and spades here. It's not going to surprise me. Well, your partner's bid diamonds and your partner may well have clubs. So if your partner can't double clubs, then we compete maybe to 2 diamonds or something like that. You've got a lovely lead as well. Make sure you lead the 2 of diamonds here. That's crucial, because very often the 1 no trump bidder here, who is south, may well have something like ace jack small in diamonds, and your king's job will be to kill that jack. So you lead small to your partner's queen, and later on you are able to kill the jack with your king. Whereas if you waste the king on the opening lead, declarer might have a double stopper there. Okay, or of course your partner might have much better diamonds, but clearly you expect 1 no trump to go down, and it's really important here that you do it here. Here South's just unlucky. He's bid 1 no trump, he's got a nice hand. His partner's just not got a nice hand, and if partner starts running to the majors, we just double him there and get probably more points. I mean, 2 spades could be horrible. Anything's horrible, really. 1 no trump. I mean, let's just put the bidding up so you can see it there. 1 no trump undoubled is 150. 1 no trump doubled is 500. And it's really important, those doubles. Okay, there's no game on. I mean, I guess double dummy there might be, but you're not going to be bidding game. Not going to be bidding game. All right, so it's really important that we put those doubles on. Sometimes you get this situation because South makes a mistake and makes a weak no trump overcall. He shouldn't be, but I've seen enough people do it. Remember, a 1 no trump overcall should show a strong no trump, but sometimes maybe they haven't even seen the diamond opening. Take advantage. If 1 no trump's bid, you don't care how many South's got, you just care about how many you've got. You've got 10 partners opened. Well, that's a minimum opening bid. If you change the queen of hearts to a jack or something, I don't think I'd have opened the bidding with that hand. So East has a minimum opening bid. He opens a diamond. He's planning to rebid 2 clubs, but when it goes 1 diamond, 1 no trump double, we're in a good place. And as you can see, if they run anywhere, you're going to be doubling them, either in 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, or 2 spades, and you're going to have more fun because they're at a higher level. Okay, double dummy, you can really have a lot of fun in 2 spades or something like that. But it's, you know, that's all well and good. Okay, just a last thing about what we're going to be looking at throughout the rest of the month, and that is the rest of the seminar, but also just some ideas on the idea of when we double later. So I think doubles of 1 no trump are usually handleable. Doubles of 2 no trumps and 3 no trumps are rarer, but they are so profitable. One of the common times is when people are just they're coming with an overcall. So, you know, maybe you've opened the bidding, they overcall 1 heart or something, and then the bidding gets a little bit competitive, and they compete with each other, if that makes sense. So one of them bids a heart and the other one bids clubs, and then they think, well, we might as well try 2 no trumps, but they're way out of their depth at that point. You know they haven't got a fit. When they don't support each other's overcalls, it often means they're in a misfit. And if you know you've got 21, 22 points and they're in 2 no trumps, do not worry about doubling them into game, as I always say, because we are not doubling them to make the contract. We are doubling them because we expect them to go 2 or 3 down, and they often will. And remember, if you start doubling your opponents, they will start to bid more meekly against you because they will realise the penalty if they go wrong. So when your opponents have misfits, and remember, you can listen to their auction, but you can also look at your hands. And, you know, let's say there's a 1 heart bid overcall, and you've got a singleton hearts, and the partner of the heart bidder doesn't support hearts. you now know that suit is not going well. Do you know what I mean? Because the chances are your partner's sitting with 4 or 5 hearts, and if you're sitting with 4 or 5 clubs and right hand opponent bids clubs, don't worry about them running back and forth, because neither suit's going to break well. You then of course know that they are going to struggle unless they've got a lot of points in a no trump contract. So your partner's open the bidding, you've got 8 points, and they end up in a 2N contract when you know the suits aren't well. You're not expecting 2N to go 1 off. You're expecting 2 or 3 off, and that is when you get these lovely scores, both getting a top at duplicate pairs but also getting a really nice 800 in your no trump in your team's game as well. Okay, let me come back to you then. So that's a little taster of doubling no trumps. It is something I really enjoy. I love the doubles of 3 no trumps, so we'll look at lots of those over this month, because they are things that a lot of people miss out, and you'll see experts are brilliant at that. They're brilliant at putting that double when the opponents settle in 3 no trumps, because they don't know where else to finish, if that makes sense. So they've worked out they haven't got to fit anywhere. They possibly only have 23 or 24 points, but they've both bid a bit more because they've got a bit of extra length. A 6-card suit is all well and good being excited about, but if it's a singleton opposite and the opponents know it's not breaking 3-3, so don't forget, if you've got 3 cards in the suits the opponents are bidding, that's not a nice holding. You're thinking, well, they probably shouldn't be in 3N, but because the suit breaks 3-3, they might end up with 5 tricks from that suit. Whereas when you know it's breaking 5-1 or 4-2, you know they're not getting their tricks from there. Okay, so remember with the scoring, that's another matter. Getting to know the scoring for doubling takes a bit of time. It's really important. Don't worry about the 180s, 280s and 380s. That's just the score for 1 no trump doubled and making, and then over tricks. That's less. Unfortunately though, it is an important element of bridge, and a lot of people are not learning the scoring in the same way, because they're just pressing buttons to get the answer. So I do recommend that you do try at times to score in your head. So 1 no trump doubled and making is 40. Doubled is 80. And then you get 50 for a part score and 50 for an insult. So 40 doubled is 80. 50 for a part score, 50 for the insult, that is 180. Okay, so that is how you get there, and just doing it because, of course, understanding the comparison of scores is so relatively important. Okay, let me go back here and let's decide what we're going to do then in this situation. 2 hearts. 2 spades, 4 hearts, 4 spades. Now, you've chosen to open a 2 heart bid with a little bit of extra distribution and a quality heart suit. Okay. The vulnerability, of course, non-vulnerable for you, vulnerable for the opponents. Okay. Vulnerability is key on most hands. It really is. Other than when you're just going for game and things like that, playing pairs, it's less important there. But here, I mean, I think everybody knows the answer here. And the key on hands like this is that when you decide to open the bidding with a preempt, you've got to accept that you've pretty much said it all. Now, if you open with a 6-5 hand, then you're causing danger. Now, what I mean by that is if I had 6-5-1-1 and you open weak 2s, and people still do, the problem with doing that is you will get yourself into trouble later in the auction because you'll be too tempted not to bid. Okay. But the point is here is that your partner is the one who knows what's going on. You have no idea who is making what. So you have no idea whether four spades is making. I mean, let's open the auction. You know, you have no idea. Okay, so on a hand like this, your partner didn't want to show a good hand because clearly he's got no ambitions beyond the four hearts. So I like the four heart bid from West there. But it's not unreasonable for your partner to think he's got a fair chance of defeating four spades. But the good news for your partner is he knows that you would never bid again. When you preempt, you should not bid again. Notice if you'd had 6 hearts and 5 diamonds here, okay, you still wouldn't want to be in 5 hearts. You'd lose 3 diamond tricks, and 5 hearts would go off. So you've got to be really careful. If you choose to make a preempt, then you should stick by that decision. And that decision is, partner, I've preempted, I won't bid again. If your partner invites you to bid with a 3 spade bid, maybe he's saying, partner, get involved, you know, but here he wouldn't be. He'd want you to pass and leave it up to him. Okay, so here, I don't know. I think West might venture a double. He does. Q plus did. I wouldn't. Because I know what my non-vulnerable against vulnerable preempts are like. So, I mean, I think West is lucky that 4 hearts goes down. What do I mean by that? Well, often I will preempt weak 2s here with King, Queen, Jack to 6. And if I have got King, Queen, Jack to 6, well, then 4 spades will make. Clearly, West is going to make the Ace, King of Spades and the Ace of Clubs, but he wouldn't have made another trick. Here, instead, 4 spades will go one off. Quite comfortably. Obviously, I would assume we would lead a heart. Of course, we must do a spade and a heart switch or whatever. But I mean, declarer can throw a heart, so you're not going to make any more than 4 tricks. But these are crucial hands. As I always say, we won't always get them right. But here, it's up to your partner. You've made the weak 2. I know you've got a 4-card diamonds and a suit and a singleton spade, but always remember your partner will almost always know when you're short. Here, West has got 3 spades. He will place you with a singleton, you know, at most. So he knows that. So when he bids on, he will make the decision. And remember, you can't lead spades because you can't draw them all. If you draw all of the spades, clearly declarer can throw hearts, so you'll only take it one off. So it looks as if you feel as if you should be able to take it more than one off on a trump lead, but you do, declarer can just discard hearts, don't forget. So I think even if you lead a spade, you need to take that heart trick. It would be lovely. It feels as if, I mean, I suppose if West had had Ace, King, Jack of spades, it would have been nice, but I think you get a heart lead, then maybe a spade switch, and then eventually you make your Ace of Clubs. Declarer can't quite discard. Oh, maybe he does. I think you need to take your Ace of Clubs, don't you? Yes, he could discard all those clubs, so you do have to be careful. You do need to take your 5 tricks, but I think West can see that. As soon as you see dummies diamonds, I think you're worried about those diamonds, particularly holding 3 small. Does that make sense? So I think you should, once you take the Ace of Hearts, I think you're going to settle for one off. But that's crucial. 4 spades one off instead of 5 hearts one off. Okay. Again, it's relatively trivial, surely. I mean, even if you lead the King of Clubs, declarer can't get rid of the diamonds. You're always, I think the King of Clubs might be led, but you're always going to lose. You're always going to lose 3 diamond tricks. If you do lead a diamond, of course, you do get a 4th trick because you would get a ruff. So 4 hearts can go off, can't it? Okay, so on a diamond lead, I'm not sure you'd lead a diamond, but if you do lead the Jack of diamonds, partner can take the Ace, King, Queen and play a 4th round of diamonds, and you're able to ruff that with your Queen or Jack. So, you know, 5 hearts could be doubled -2, which would not be very nice. Again, you'd think, oh, great sacrifice, but you wouldn't be very pleased when you saw the Traveller to find that it wasn't such a good sacrifice, and that's the key. A sacrifice is only a good score if your opponents make their contract and it's partner who's the one who's going to know whether he expects them to make. And if he did, he may well have bid on to 5 hearts. Yeah, so if your partner only had 2 tricks against their contract, so just the ace of spades rather than the ace king, he may well have bid 5 hearts. Yeah. Okay, let's give you your bidding quiz here. 1 club from you, 1 spade, 1 no trump, pass. So nobody's vulnerable. You've chosen to open 1 club. I hope you're happy with that, with a good 6-card suit and 11 points. I think that's pretty standard, I hope. So 1 club, 1 spade overcall, 1 no trump, pass. And it's your bid. Okay, you can get the answer, of course, on the site. Whether you're a member or non-member, so do go there and enjoy them. We're still on a theme of these slightly competitive auctions and deciding what to do. Pretty common auctions though, so good luck with that one. So don't forget, I want you doubling more. I really do. I know that I don't mind if you stop after January, but I'm hoping that you get the buzz. And you'll find that a lot of the times it works. If it never works, well then by all means stop. But keep it up for the whole of January. You know, it's ironic because people find doubling easier when they've maybe had a drink or 2. So if you're doing dry January, just try and double, even as without any inspiration, as it were, or not. But you will find that in the long run, if you double more, you'll get used to it more, you'll enjoy it more, and you'll get better scores. And we will stick with it. Please do send in your hands with examples of your doubles, whether they're successful or not. Bear in mind that all of us expect a doubled contract to make at least one. I mean, ideally, once in every 2 times I play, I'd expect one of them to make. Don't get me wrong, it's not ideal, sorry, that's the wrong word. I don't want it to happen, but I should be doubling enough that it should happen. Okay, and that's the crucial thing. If you enjoy your doubles and double lots and lots, you'll get a lot of good scores, just the odd bad score, but lots of good scores. Anyway, Happy New Year. I hope you've enjoyed that. I'll see some of you in Denham. I've got teams as usual on Wednesday for the members, of course. Friday will be pre-recorded, and then I'll see you back on Monday. In a second, I am going to go back to the beginners though, if that's all right. So thanks for your company. Okay, let's have a look. Happy New Year to the beginners. Here we are with the basic leads. So look at basic leads, and I mean absolute basic. Okay. However, I am following on from the pre-Christmas topic. So we have been talking about choosing a lead against a no trump contract. We've gone through the very basic options. So what are your choices against a suit contract? Well, the key is the trump suit makes a lot of difference. Okay, it makes, apologies, it makes a lot of difference. I won't put my hand in front of my face this time. What kind of things? Well, in a no trump contract, we tried to establish a long suit, and it was great. And we'd often make a few extra tricks because we had such length. That does not tend to work so well in a suit contract, because once you've knocked out their high cards, perhaps they may well be able to ruff. So if you've got a 5-card suit, maybe they've just got 2 cards in the suit. After the first 2 rounds, they can use their trump suit to ruff. So we may well need different tactics. However, one of the things we're going to stick with is a top of a sequence lead. Now we talked about that against no trumps, and the reason we like it is when we've got 2 high cards together, king queen, ace king, queen jack, then we can sometimes use them to knock out the opponent's high card to establish a high card trick for ourselves. Okay, so I mean, let's remind ourselves of what we mean. I'll give you 4 different suits here. Now, in a no trump contract, I asked you to have 3 high cards for a high lead. And there's a good reason for that, because the first 3 rounds of the suit are important. However, in a suit contract, as I've just mentioned, very often someone will have a doubleton, which means it's only the first 2 tricks that tend to be important, because after that someone can ruff. So against a suit contract, if I had any of these suits, notice you haven't, this isn't a hand, I hope you've worked out that, because there's a lot of cards there. I've given you 19 cards to be precise, 4 5s and a 4. What card will we lead against a suit contract? Well, I would choose to lead these suits. I would lead the King of Spades, my ambition to make the Queen. You never know, I might make the Jack as well, but I also know that it might get ruffed away. But it's a safe lead. I'm not giving anything away. If I let a low one there, someone might win with the 10. I wouldn't be pleased. So the King to knock out the ace, or hope my partner's got the ace, and make a few spade tricks. Ace from Ace King is a really good lead. It allows you to see the dummy. You've got the King in hand. You will then decide whether you take the King as well. Okay, but you need to have at least 2 in a row to lead high. Queen of Diamonds, another good lead. Sometimes it will capture the King, so your partner might have the ace. And if dummy's got the King, it goes Queen, King and ace, and you're very happy with your Jack and 10 back. Again, though, you're not expecting to make the great length in the suit because it's a suit contract. Now, last but not least, really important element here is the clubs, okay? Because we saw this one 3 weeks ago when talking about no trumps, and we would usually lead the 4th highest from this suit in a no trump contract. And the reason you do that is so that your partner can play any high card he has, and eventually you establish the suit and expect to make, or hope to make, 3 or 4 tricks from the suit, because it's no trumps. In a suit contract, we are focused on the first 2 cards in the suit, and therefore we still lead high. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So here's the layout of the suit. You lead the King, it knocks out the ace, your Queen wins the next trick, and then of course they can start ruffing. So let's imagine hearts are trumps, for example. The only two rounds of the suit that are important are the King and the Queen. If you let a small one here, the Jack might win, the ace would win the next one, and then they can ruff the 3rd round. You wouldn't even win a trick. So against a suit contract, you've got to focus a little bit more on the first 2 tricks. In no trumps, the reason we lead low, yes, we might lose to the Jack, but then we can knock out the ace and we'll hope to make 3 extra tricks from the suit. So in no trumps, you're playing the long game, as it were. You're hoping that eventually you establish a suit. So we lead low, and we saw that that helps unblock the suit. Okay, so for example, if you chose in a no trump contract, if you played the King of Clubs first and then the Queen knocking out the ace, it all looks good, but the suit would be blocked. Your partner would have the 10, and you might not be able to get back to your hand at the end of the hand. So the normal lead here against no trumps is small, but against a suit contract, we lead high with just 2 touching cards. And the reason is because so often someone will ruff the 3rd round. And if you're lucky, it might be your partner. So if I gave your partner a doubleton here, so move the 6 of clubs to the north hand, for example, you could lead the King of Clubs knocking out the ace. And if trumps aren't drawn quickly, you could then win the Queen and give your partner a ruff. Okay, so sometimes the doubleton will be in your side's hands and allow you to get a ruff. But that's important. So leading high with just 2 touching cards against a suit contract is a clever tactic, aiming to develop a quick trick, but also making sure that you do make a trick rather than allowing declarer to ruff the later rounds. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that. That's the introduction to the very basics of leads against suit contracts, and we'll carry along that theme for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Happy New Year, and hope to see you again soon.